Bonjour à tous, this is Anushka Maan and I welcome you all to French One Stop. Today we are going to learn about les accents. Les accents, the accents in French language. So many times when you look at French words, you would have seen these symbols, a slanting line or a triangle-like symbol or maybe two dots over letters. So what is the use of such accents? Now the main purpose of les accents is to guide us through the pronunciation of the words and sometimes the meanings. So let us see how. There are many types of les accents. The first one is accent aigu. Accent aigu is a slanting line which forms a sort of acute angle on the top of the letters. So from the word acute you can learn aigu. Acute aigu. Now the slanting line is bent in the forward direction and it is usually found on top of the letter E. Now how does it influence the pronunciation of letters? So when we put accent aigu on top of E, the pronunciation of the letter becomes A. A. A as in the alphabet A. For example, café, which is coffee. Café. You see, we have put accent aigu on top of E, which makes the pronunciation café. The second type of accent is accent grave. Accent grave. This is again a slanting line which is bent in the backwards direction. And it is usually found on top of the letters E, U, etc. and also on A. But generally we see it on letter E. When it is put on the letter E, this accent grave, it changes the pronunciation of E to A. A. So you can see the difference that when we put accent aigu, the pronunciation becomes A. Now on putting accent grave on top of E, the pronunciation becomes A. For example, père, which is father, mère, mother, and so on. Now sometimes this accent grave is also found on letters like U and A. Now when accent grave is put on U or A, it does not change their pronunciation, but it changes their meanings. How? Let's see. U. U means or, as in conjunction in the English language. You want tea or coffee, that or. So U means or. If we put accent grave on U, it becomes U. Now this U means where. So you see the difference? There is no change in pronunciation, but there is change in meaning. U means or and U means where. Another example is la. La is an article in French language, the, which means the. Whereas if we put accent grave on A, the pronunciation remains la, but the meaning is there. Like we say, she's over there. So you see the difference? There is change in meaning. La means the and la means there. Now the third accent is accent circonflexe. Accent circonflexe. Now this is a triangle-like symbol which is usually found on top of letters like O and A. And it does not change the pronunciation much. The main difference it brings is in the meaning. It is usually found in words like chapeau, which is a hat, forêt, which is forest, and so on. The next accent is cédille. Cédille. Now cédille is usually found below the letter C. Okay. Now what it does, it changes the hard consonant sound to soft consonant sound. Let us see how. Now look at this word on the screen. How will we pronounce it? Cava. Cava. But if we put cédille below the C, it will be pronounced as ça va. Ça va, which means fine or okay. So you see how the pronunciation, how the hard consonant sound has changed to a soft consonant sound when we put cédille below C. And remember, cédille is usually found below C. For example, français, français. You see? There is one more accent which is called tréma. Now, tréma is found whenever in a word there are two vowels together. So the vowel on top of which we find these two dots, that is tréma, the sound of that vowel is stressed more. How? For example, mais. Mais, it means but, which is a conjunction, but. When we put tréma on I, it becomes mais, which is maize. Maize. You see, we have put tréma on I, so the sound of I is stressed more. Mais, maize. Another example is Noël, which is Christmas. Noël. Here, the sound of E is stressed more because there is tréma above it. Noël. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you had a great time learning the accents in French language. The only purpose of making this video is to make you aware about what these symbols are. So the next time you look at French words which have these accents, you are familiar with what they mean. So that's it. See you in the next video. Au revoir.